Where's the tweet? Show me the tweet.
No.
I mean, it's Twitter, so basically like LOL no.
Yeah. Show me the tweet and hope it fucking shows up, basically.
I say show me the tweet. Twitter says 404. No thanks.
Show me the money, bitch. Which, have you seen that movie, Boston?
Yes. It's been a long time.
Oh,
Thank fuck.
speaking of seeing stuff, since you're both here, I have to bring something up.
Oh, no. Sounds like we got a bone to pick here.
We're
No,
live.
no,
by the
no,
way.
okay.
Just
This'll
so you
be-
know,
yeah.
We're live. No.
This will be real quick. When are you guys going to play Majora's Mask for We Roguelike It?
Probably the day after never.
No,
Hey,
my son and I
we've
were
got
talking
fucking-
about... Oh, go ahead.
We've got On Losing Ranger versus Dark Death Devilman on that list as well, my man. So
That's true.
But my son and I were just talking about Legend of Zelda stuff, and we were talking about Majora's Mask, and then we were like, oh, this is actually surprisingly kind of roguish. I was like, I'm going to bring that up as a joke.
It would probably... You could probably make a case for it, I bet. But I'm not sure we want to do that.
I've never played Majora's Mask.
Never finished it. I played a bunch of it, but I think I kind of got the point of it, and I'm like, I really like this. Okay, bye.
I was going to say, I think I'm the outlier person who really enjoyed Majora's Mask.
Mhm.
At first I didn't, but it grew on me.
It
I
clicks after a
didn't
while.
have the expansion pack, and I was a hipster at the time and refused to play it without the expansion pack.
That's fair.
See, we bought the Donkey Kong 64, the green one that came
Yep.
with the expansion pack,
Oh yeah.
so didn't have to worry about it.
I wonder if that's where we got the expansion pack, or if we bought it separately. I don't remember.
Perfect Dark as well had it.
I was gonna say, I think Perfect Dark came with it, but
I don't think we had Perfect Dark. I wonder if we bought it separately, used at a GameStop or something. Or Funko Land, it would have been at the time, to be
man.
more correct. Funko Land.
just twist that knife a little harder, why don't
It's
you?
just, it's
Uh-huh.
so sad. Just the coolest place, man.
I was a proponent of game, so we
Yeah,
kept it nice and simple.
that's right.
One
We got
word.
him. Game.
Funko Land was the one store my parents could drop me off in the mall and know that I wouldn't wander away from the store.
That's true. Man. All right.
But anyway,
Are you guys ready to start?
yes.
Yes.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always, returning, is Moonpeer.
Hi, I guess.
And the Nymph.
It's like, hi.
Hello.
Hey,
Uh,
don't you stop.
come say hello to us over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
And bring your $5. That's the recommended tier. $5 per month gets you everything, including the uncensored, exclusive Outcast. YouTube might not like our swearing. Patreon really does, though. And you will, too.
Yep.
Um,
Speaking of game and fun for a $5, patreon.com/E1M1.
I love it. The ones
Ones
are
and
numbers. Send your numbers. Send your $5 over that way. You also get early access to We Roguelike It, the show where Moon and I are playing every roguelike that we can get our hands on throughout history.
I hate you.
And critical misses. Moon and I are catching up on all the meaty hits we missed. On the public feed right now is the beginning of our most recent music season, where we're going through one of Moon's favorite bands, Poets of the Fall. You might recognize them from the Remedy games. So if you've played one of those, you've probably heard their songs. That season turned out really really cool. I think you should go check that out, and check out their albums too. I think that's it. All over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Moon, what have you been playing recently?
Okay. So I'm gonna breeze over a lot of this, to be completely honest, because it's It's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Marvel Snap, we don't really need to talk about it this week. Dead by Daylight, we don't really need to talk about it this week. Saints Row, we really don't need to talk about it this week. Instead, I'm going to jump straight into what I like to call the anti-Boston week from Moon.
Okay. I like that.
So, we're going to start with High on Life.
Oh, no. Okay.
See, I told you. Anti-Boston week phase 1 is complete. I got an oh no.
God, okay. Also, some very unfortunate and serious allegations coming out of that studio this week, which is just the absolute worst of a garbage person being garbage. So we know all of that, and it sucks, and it's just the worst. Stop being terrible to people, humans.
Yes. So take everything I say with a grain of salt and do or do not play this as you choose. And just to throw fire on the flames of maybe don't play this game, after the release, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, we totally used AIR at the end.
And AI voice acting as well, which is just the worst.
You know, maybe do or don't play this as you will. I unfortunately did not know any of this stuff.
Are we going to find out in a month you've been running like an NFT breaker in the background while playing the game?
I mean,
probably yes.
Chances are good at this point.
Yeah.
At least it's on Game Pass, I guess.
Exactly, which is how I played this game.
Yeah.
It is also worth mentioning that he who won't be named, alleged Rungan, also likes NFTs. For the record.
Shock.
So have fun with that, Boston, to add that onto your list of things that you don't really want to talk about when it comes to this person.
Yeah.
With all that being said, this game is surprisingly pretty solid. Like, I was discussing the main person, I'm just going to say it, Justin Roiland in question, with some people over the break while I was playing this game. And one of the big things that this game does do that is different from the Rick and Morty crap is people in this game aren't deliberately a-holes.
That's a nice change.
They're just accidentally a-holes.
Right.
They have accidental a-hole moments, yes. But there's a lot of voice actors in this, and I'm not going to disparage the whole thing just because of one of them. But there is the thing that got me through this game is surprisingly the writing and the storytelling. There is a shocking amount of heart in this game.
Okay.
The gunplay itself, it's a first-person shooter. The guns talk. You know the game by now.
Yep.
Like the plot of the game is fine. Humans are invaded by an alien species who smoke them to get high, essentially.
Okay.
If you've seen Torchwood's Children of Men season, it's that, essentially.
Okay.
But you find a bounty hunter, you get his suit, and a race of guns are basically trying to stop this criminal organization from taking over Earth and killing all humans, essentially.
Okay.
The storytelling is fine. There is a shocking amount of heart. Like I said, like there's a lot of really cool conversations and genuine thought put into a lot of the storytelling. And then in a very squanch kind of way, which is the studio who developed it. Some of the writing is exactly what you expect.
Okay.
It is loud, obnoxious, filthy.
Cruel.
It is cruel in places, yes, definitely. There is a lot of... It's a comedy game. And for a comedy game, probably about half of it landed for me, would be what my guess. Like
That's a good ratio for a comedy game.
Exactly. That was the thing that surprised me the most, is like that about half of this landed when, like, if you've seen Rick and Morty, like everyone's got their percentages. Like for Rick and Morty, for me, maybe 20% of it lands and 80% of it is just like please just no kind of thing. Whereas in this one, it's like it's a good 50-50 ratio. There's some fantastic moments. They literally give you the trolley problem. Like,
it's actually pretty good.
Can you break the trolley problem so everyone dies?
No, but you probably can kill them.
It's not the same.
So part of what this is that it does. I don't know how much writing and voice acting they did for this game, because basically everything you do there is lines and jokes, and then if you take a certain action, there's lines and jokes. If you take a different action, there's lines and jokes. Like, I don't know how much writing they did on this, which I'm fine with. Because, like I said, about 50% of the stuff lands, 50% of it doesn't. There's a really annoying kid at the beginning of the game, like a really small alien, essentially, who won't shut up and is following you around the entire time while you're trying to explore this area. You can literally shoot him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your gun loses its mind about how you just killed a kid.
You
get an achievement for killing said kid. It says Fallout doesn't let you do this, which I appreciate.
It's pretty good. Pretty good line. That's not bad.
And then you find out it's actually a 35-year-old person who just likes being an a-hole. All in all, it's a genuinely fun game. Like, I had a solid time with it throughout. Some of the jokes just land so hard and so perfect. When you first get the bounty hunter suit, you are using the free version of the software.
Okay.
So it starts giving you pop-up ads inside of your suit. So it starts blocking your vision with these pop-up ads.
That's pretty good.
Which is, I really like. There's some really solid moments like that. Like all of the guns have unique characters, and depending on who you want to talk to, you have different guns out at different times. You do have a frequency of non-story based dialogue, so you can turn them off completely, so they're only talking when it's specifically story related.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes in here, and a surprising amount of them landed for me. But for me, the thing that keeps coming back is the game just has genuine heart. They do make a joke about how there's no Rick and Morty references in the game, and then as such, they made a Rick and Morty reference in the game.
Right.
Like, so they're fine breaking the fourth wall every now and again as well. I don't know how I feel anymore because of everything that's come out.
Yeah. It's
like, can I recommend it? Probably yes, but do I want to recommend it? Probably not, because of everything that's happening right now.
But I feel like if you like his stuff or Rick and Morty or the team's kind of work, you've probably already played it by this point, and it doesn't seem like it's not a 50-hour game. So if you played it before this, you've probably knocked it out already anyway. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think I put like 15, 20 hours into it, and I literally have one achievement left.
Okay.
Which is broken, of course, because why not? Sure.
Yeah. Video games.
Yeah. Complicated endeavors as they always are. My second anti-Boston game this week.
Okay.
It's NHL 2K3.
One of the worst covers in video game history.
Hold on. Why? How so?
It looks like the front of a Kohl's ad. Like it's just like,
what was it? NHL 2003?
23. It's NHL 23.
Oh, gee. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Google the cover art if you haven't seen it, people. It looks like they're selling those outfits at like in a Sears. Anyway, not representative of the gameplay inside the box.
I don't know about that. Maybe it is.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know. I don't go to Coles or Sears, so maybe it is.
Talking about the ones with the Toronto Maple Leaf and the Mighty Ducks on the cover.
It's just like the two people standing
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It looks like it
Yeah,
does
that
look like a
looks-
catalog for like teen models. I'm not
Yep.
gonna lie.
100%.
Which got me into a conversation with a friend of the show, Rob, who is a hockey fan,
Oh, okay.
about why all NHL players look like they're about 12.
Okay.
Because they don't last very long.
That's right.
I think the average age has changed. We'll say.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what I know as ice hockey, that was your bruiser era, your big hitters, your enforcer era. Nowadays, it's a fast game. There is a documentary all about how basically hockey has evolved the most from all of the big sports to be the fastest game that exists, because it's not so much about the hits and the enforcers these days. It's about hook handling skills. It's about, there's a guy who made himself. Yeah, there's a guy who made himself famous for scoring a lacrosse goal, is what it's now called.
Yeah.
Where he was behind the net, picked up the puck with his stick, and then just looped it around into the top corner. It's like some Mighty Ducks stuff.
Right.
Like, hockey has become what the Ducks predicted it would be.
That's right.
Like, average age of an NHL professional player right now is 27, by the way.
Oh,
to make
wow.
I was going to say,
really
around the time I was super into it, I think 36 was like the top end that you were looking at. And that was just around the time where they started transitioning to it being a faster, quote unquote, game. But
yep.
Goodness.
And it's insane. So I think I've talked about it on the show. I get really, really bad seasonal affective disorder.
Mhm.
I was on vacation, but work was vacation from the show, but work was piling on the pressure. And I wanted something stupid and dumb to play, which makes me think of sports games.
Right.
Because why not? Every couple of years I'll do this. I'll just go deep into a sports game and then not touch them for a long time after the fact. And I called Boston on Discord and was like, hey, Boston, do you want to play a sports game with me? Because EA literally had a buy one, get one free offer on the Xbox. And it was Need for Speed Unbound, and then all of the sports games except hockey.
Okay.
So I was like, well, who can I get to play, FIFA with me? Or do I really want to go down the NFL route? Probably not, if I'm completely honest.
Right.
So I ended up looking at the rest of the sales that was going on, and NHL 23 was on sale for like $20.
That's not a bad price.
No, considering the new one doesn't come out till like September usually, that's a good discount on that game pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna do this. So I got in touch with known hockey fan Rob, and was like, so if I buy NHL, will you play NHL with me?
Right.
His response was, of course.
Right.
I'm not even going to get into the story about how he couldn't recover his EA account, so he couldn't sign into the online side of it, so he literally couldn't play half of the game because
Thanks, EA.
his account was from 13 years ago when he created the email that doesn't exist
Let
anymore.
me sign back into my Hotmail account.
hey, I still
AOL,
have a Hotmail account.
my guy.
Oh wow.
AOL.
Ah, my heart.
Which goes inactive after 90 days of you not using it, by the way. Just so you know.
That's not.
I mean,
super
that's the only
surprising, I
thing
guess.
from AOL that goes inactive. So
That's right. That's right.
because normally they would just love to sit there and charge you for it.
So I helped him get himself out of that pickle, we'll say. Because he was mad because he couldn't do anything. Like, he loves his Ultimate Team.
Mm-hmm.
I have my appreciation of the mode. I do not like the practices that are enclosed within of that mode, we'll say.
Uh-huh.
Hang on, well, real quick. if you don't have an EA account, does it just like is there just a ton of stuff you can't access in this game?
Literally can't play anything online at all.
That's
So,
the online's kind
wild,
of meh,
man.
but yeah.
no Ultimate Team, no Chell, no like all of the stuff that requires an internet connection, which in modern day video games is everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
Basically can't do
don't
it.
just tie it to your account on
Right.
the system that you're playing that
Yeah,
is
like
connected
everybody-
online.
Like every time I
Yeah.
fire up a new Ubisoft game, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're already signed in. Don't worry." It's like I don't know how you do that, but cool, great. I don't have
But
to worry about it.
even before
So-
that, Ubisoft used to be one of those too, where it's like, oh, you have to log into your Ubisoft account. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's literally the same account.
What's your
now.
Uplay username and password? And it's like
Yeah.
no one knows. Nobody knows that.
So
Anyway,
it's
sorry.
exactly the same thing. Like
Right.
when you log in, like when I kicked up the game for the first time, it remembered all my information, and then it was just like, it's been a while. We need to authorize this. Get confirmation that this
You
is
still
who
have
we think it
two-factor?
is.
Let's text you.
That's right. I'm going to ask you a question only you would know the answer to. It's like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, 13 years ago,
Exactly.
only you would have
That's
known
right.
the answer to it.
Yeah, it's like, what is your favorite pet? I don't know. I've been through 7 since then. That makes me
One
sound like a
person
bad pet owner.
lies.
I'm not a bad pet owner.
That's right. One person lies, one person tells the truth. Let's go. It's like, no, please.
And the third
Yeah,
person's just
exactly.
there watching.
That's right. Third person is the Sphinx.
Yeah, the third person is the EA support team.
That's right. That's right.
But I got in fine and whatever. But the problem Rob had was he didn't have access to the email, and the phone number tied to the account didn't exist anymore either. So
Ah, that makes sense.
fun. Thanks to factor authorization that has zero wiggle room. But basically, it was a problem. It got solved. It was fine. Whatever.
Nice.
While I was waiting for time when we could both play together, I was playing the Be a Pro mode, which is when
Okay.
you create a character and you start a career.
Mm,
Hoping, because the game doesn't have tutorials.
cool. Love it.
Well, yeah,
Yo.
why would you start with 23 first? There's several other decades
That's
worth
right.
of NHL
There's
games
22
to play.
other ones, man.
Yeah.
Mhm. I don't follow ice hockey.
Yeah.
I barely remembered what icing was from like hockey on the Mega Drive.
That's right.
That's
Yep.
the Genesis for Americans out there, by the way.
That's right.
I don't know the rules. I don't know how to play. I don't know what the buttons are. Apparently, they changed it from a 4-face button control scheme to the trick stick now, where your
Mm.
left stick controls the player and the right stick controls your stick. Just so you know.
Uh-huh. Okay. This seems like some surgeon simulator thing. We're like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. Like,
It's like
You are
Gordy or
not
whatever
far
that game
off.
was.
Like, it. So I get into the Be a Pro mode. I start playing a couple of games, and then I literally send Rob a text in all capitals, which is I can't hit and I can't score. Don't take me out of context.
that's right. I'm not even writing it down.
I am.
But I literally, it's like, oh yeah, it's got like a little right stick symbol, and it's just like, yeah, right stick is hit, and it's like, is it click? Is it push? Is it directions?
Right.
Do I
Which
have
way
to, like,
do I push it?
wind it up like I do a shot? Like, what's the trick here? How do I do this?
Is it like Mario Party? We're just in a circle. Like,
I was gonna say, you're sitting there trying to do button combinations to pull off your super, and
That's
then
right.
you finally make a goal.
yeah, downright fierce
So-
to shoot. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right.
Ironically enough, minus the fierce, if you
Mhm.
do the dragon punch directions on the right stick on your correct side, not your offhand but your on hand, that's how
Mhm.
you do a wrist shot. is
Okay.
Those directions.
Right. Unless you're southpaw, and that just goes the other way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
No,
That's
really?
exactly
Oh, no.
what happens.
Oh boy.
So I'm playing the Be a Pro mode. I'm like, okay, can I not score because my character doesn't have abilities because I'm overall 71 because I'm a new
Right.
young person?
Is it the intro
Or-
to Alpha Protocol where it's like you can't shoot because you're new?
Exactly. Or can I not score because I'm just that bad at the game?
Does the problem exist between controller and chair, or is it your character?
Yes. between controller and ice, one might say. Controller
There you
chair,
go.
controller ice. There's one of these two avatars is a problem. Is it the
Horse
one in
meet
real life
rider.
or the one
Rider
in
meet
the
horse.
game?
Right.
So I can't figure it out. I'm playing around with it. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. And I realized one of the things I'm running into is one of the reasons I can't score is because all I've ever cared about in any sports game is give me the power shot, give me the spectacular that I can just go for over and over and over again. I want to, if I'm playing FIFA, I want to score a screamer from outside the box into the top corner because that's really satisfying.
It like catches on fire and punches a hole through the net as you score. Like
exactly. I
Right.
want the NBA streetification.
yeah,
of...
you want the Mario strikers of just shoo.
Exactly.
Yep.
I want all of that every time. So all I'm doing is like I'm sitting in some space and I'm slap shotting it every single time.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care about no wrist shot. I'm slap shotting it until it goes in the net. That's all
Right.
I'm aiming to do. Can't score that way anymore in NHL.
The game knows your tricks.
Apparently, you can't score that way in the pros, essentially too.
Oh, bummer.
Like it is all wrist shots, puck control, placement kind of things.
I'm
Like-
not a guy with the finesse. That's not my game.
No, I probably should have just chosen to be a bruiser, if I'm completely
I was
honest.
gonna say, he's
Mhm.
charged the goalie and hit it in at the last minute.
Right.
But
right.
even that doesn't help me because I can't do the left, right thing.
Mm.
Because with the right stick, it's left and right to do the switch to hands to move the puck around with your stick. That's great.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
Except my
okay.
problem is when I'm skating from right of the screen to left of the screen, so going sideways, I want to do up down.
Up and down. Yeah.
because
Oh,
I'm
my
doing
brain.
I'm doing it with the
Oh.
orientation of the skater. The problem is, you start doing up down and you take a shot because it doesn't care about the orientation of the skater. It just cares about the directions you're pressing.
Oh man, my brain just made like a backfiring noise. Just like
So,
God.
so yeah, like there's a lot going on. But we did eventually get into a game, and apparently there's a 3-on-3 mode where they just don't care about the rules.
Yeah.
And it has money pucks, which is like plus and minus scores.
Mhm.
So like if you score with this golden puck, you get like 4 goals instead of 1, and if you score with a
Get
blue
some
one, you
NHL
take
Street in
3
here.
away.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I played that with Rob a whole bunch. We played just so I could get used to the controls and playing with somebody else, and maybe having someone who understands that when I'm skating towards the space, maybe I want you to put it into me in the space area. I'm not even going to talk about the amount of times I have been giving slashing, tripping, interference calls.
I was gonna say, are you like 5 minutes into a game and half your team's in the penalty box?
That's right. That's right.
No, because the thing I'm playing mostly is the Be a Pro, which I only control one person,
Oh,
me.
okay.
Mm.
I don't control the rest of the team. So there ends up being a lot of time of me getting sent into the penalty box. And then it does this cool thing where basically you only play the parts that your skater plays.
Oh, okay.
So you have to change lines at the bench. So you have to go to the bench when it's the end of your line to get the next team out to go and do their thing.
Mm.
But you have to time that so that you're not leaving yourself short-handed, so you're not leaving things open, things like that. When you get into the penalty box, you can basically, once you're in the bench, you hit B and you sim through to your next appearance. So it's just like, fast forward, now you're on the ice again. Fast
That's
forward,
nice.
now you're on the ice again. When you're in the penalty box, it does the same thing, except the amount of times it's made me sit out the last, 20 seconds of just
You know what you
first-person
did.
perspective. Yeah, first-person perspective in the penalty box, looking out the glass, waiting for that timer to tick down so
That's
I can
really
actually
good. You got
leave the
put in the
penalty
corner
box.
for a timeout.
That's because I keep hitting people because I like hitting people.
That's right. I like the violence. I'm sorry.
It's so much fun when someone's skating directly at you and then you literally just stonewall them. They come to a dead stop and then the puck just slides past you to one of your defenders to get.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's perfect.
Mhm. And then I get a green experience points meter bonus, and it's big hit because, of course, it does that thing where you gain experience for what you're doing. You
Yeah.
take shots, you get shot power, you get shot accuracy, you hit people, you get hit people points.
That's right. It's
So-
Final Fantasy 2.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So my job experience is basically just take shots and hit people as hard as you can.
I like it.
You know, have you ever been in a fight? How much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? It's that kind of
That's
situation. But it's fun. It's dumb. It's exactly what I needed. Something to not have to think too much about. Instead, I just get anxiety about not being able to score because, really annoyingly, in the middle of matches in the Bria Pro modes, the coach will call you over to the bench and be like, "Hey, idiot, we're like 4 goals up. We need you to push it, like keep the pressure on."
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, if you keep the pressure on, the management will like you 70 additional points.
All right. Yeah.
One of the responses is, keep the pressure on. I'll score another goal, show you how much pressure we can keep on, and then your brand likability goes up because everything is a brand. Problem is I can never score a goal, so therefore that option is useless to me until I learn how to score.
Sure.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm having fun with it. Like it's different enough. It's not FIFA, so I can't just jump in and just be like, okay, cool, I did play 10 minutes and it's exactly the same as the game I played 6 years ago.
Right.
I haven't played an NHL game since probably the 360 days.
Mhm.
And that was for them sweet Chivos where you just sim through a season and then you get every achievement in the game. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it pops like 45 at once.
Yeah, exactly. So having someone to play this with and having that option to be in there and do that kind of stuff is fantastic. I will put my hands in the air and apologize to friend of the show, Rob, because he has a problem with microtransactions.
Okay.
And I unlocked Ultimate Team for him.
Uh-huh.
Which has card packs.
Yes. Like he was like, cool, it works. This is fantastic. And then 10 minutes later, and I just spent $50. It's like, oh no. What monster am I feeding?
Hey
kind
man,
of thing.
some game gets us at some point.
Yeah, pin packs. I remember pin packs.
Pin packs. Yeah.
Anyway, my final game in my anti-Boston week, because
Okay.
all of the rest I've already talked about ad nauseum. And this is ironic, and I don't know if you've been watching my game called Boston,
I have not.
because you literally mentioned this game in the pre-show.
Oh no. Can I take a guess which one it is?
Go ahead.
Anthem.
100% it's Anthem.
Full circle.
Okay. Anthem.
So every 2 years, apparently, I get this itch to go back to Anthem.
Hmm.
And I know that because it was this year, so January 2023. The last time I played it before this was March 2021.
Okay. Right on
And the
schedule.
time I played it before that was March 2019 when the game came out.
Okay. Also,
So
very happy to hear Anthem is still online.
it is. Dude, the game is still gorgeous, by the way.
Oh yeah. That's a great... Which engine is that on? I don't remember.
It's Frostbite.
Nice. It's a good engine.
The game still looks incredible.
Mhm.
Like, oh, by the way, folks, if you're thinking of being crazy like I am, stick Anthem on your new internal hard drives. Get rid of them pesky load times once and for all.
Oh man. Yeah, I haven't played it on the PS5. I bet that's a really good experience.
I load in before everybody else
Nice.
every time.
Even the
fail.
NPCs are moving into position.
So, do you remember how when you hit launch expedition or whatever and you were trying to quick match, it would do the animation of the suit closing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it like pan up as it was loading the thing.
That's a cool.
I see
animation.
ankles and then it's done. It's the Dying Light
Jeez.
1 thing where it's like he's trying to tell a story, he gets 2 words in and it's done.
That's right. Back in my day. Anyways.
Pretty much. It's don't know why I have this problem. I do. It's 60 gig of hard drive space I need, is what the problem is. Because, spoiler alert, Monster Hunter Rise comes out next week.
Yes.
And Persona 4 and Persona 3.
Just a couple games. Just a
couple of quick, easy games that are not going to take hundreds of hours.
It's just
play.
like Vampire Survivors, 30 minutes at a time, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthem was such a fun game. I'm watching the video that Boston has up, and I was like, man, I remember the only thing that sucked was you hit that wall towards the end of the game where you had to do like a bunch of dumb side things before you could progress the main mission.
The 4 tombs. It's like, no.
Yeah, and the biggest screw job for that was that I had completed all of it. And then the following week they patched it to lessen how much of that crap you had to do to unlock it. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's right.
Yep. So, long story short, I'm on the achievement hunt for this game. Which is bringing back memories of things I hated, bringing back memories of things I loved. The flying in that game is still impressive and incredible. I know Boston doesn't like it because it has the cooldown meter thing.
I just want to do more of it. It's so cool, and I want to do a lot of it.
So that is cool as hell. Like, let's go deep in the weeds on Anthem because it's only been out 4 years. I mean, why not? Almost 5 years, jeez. So there is still people playing Anthem, shockingly enough.
Okay.
A surprising amount of people still playing Anthem, shockingly enough. I did start running into the same names after a while because this is literally all I've been playing this week was Anthem because I need those achievements. I need to get this thing out of my life and out of my hard drives.
And if you're looking for a game that you can kind of like grind at for a while and not have to think about 100%, like once you get back on the horse, like you're kind of playing a loot game.
Like it was a grind, but it was a grind with an end. That was specifically what brought me into it because it's like I've got Warframe sitting right next to this thing on a hard drive.
No, get that on out of there.
I don't need that. I deliberately chose to stop playing Destiny for the same kind of reason because I don't have the time for that kind of thing. Whereas this is like, okay, so I know there's not a new season coming. I know there's not.
Anthem ain't getting more seasons, man.
Did it still have the Christmas, or not the Christmas, the Halloween stuff up?
Nope, the seasonal events are rotating as normal. So they have the winter event up right now.
Well, it's like, because I know a couple of years ago it glitched out and they had to go back in and fix it because it was just the Halloween event year round.
That was pretty good.
But like, so I started. One of the things you have to do, you have to complete challenges with every piece of gear, complete 4 missions wearing every piece of gear for each class.
Oh, okay.
Big negative, you can only get the gear when it's dropped. So I played an interceptor for the first time, which was the fast boy from the game, from the 4 classes essentially. So I started playing an interceptor, and I'm not kidding when I probably say I've done about 60 missions, dailies, weeklies, strongholds, everything with this interceptor, and I only just got the final piece of gear I was missing to get the achievement for the interceptor.
Loot games.
RNGesus was mean to me, we'll say. Yeah. So I have that done now. I think I'm pretty sure I did that like before I came onto the show today. So that aspect of it is taken care of for that. Now I just need to do the ranger challenges and then the collectibles. That's the 2 things I have left in the game.
Okay, that's not bad.
And it's literally do the ranger suit thing, which is the same X amount of missions with this amount of gear. I did check. I already have all of the items. I just need to do the missions for the ranger, which is good.
Nice.
In the process, I now have 4 masterworked javelins, which are almost at the power cap for the game, because I stick it on Grandmaster 1 difficulty. I destroy everybody. It doesn't matter if I'm in a party or not. I go in and destroy fools. I get a bunch of rewards. I trade in a bunch of coins. I had like 150,000 coins,
Jeez.
which is like what you buy from like the armor shops and things like
Yeah.
that and the cosmetic things. I had so
Mm.
many of those that I didn't know what to do with. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to throw them at these loot boxes that you get. There's pink crystals in the game now, which I'm assuming was an end game thing that I didn't know about, but whatever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like this some storm crystal thing.
Yeah. And I got me a disc thrower gun, which was added
Ooh.
like after the fact, which is stupidly overpowered, and I love it because I can
Nice.
literally just fire it, and it's just like a slow-moving circle of death
Yeah.
that just wipes everybody out. But like, I'm jumping in, doing missions, coming out of the missions with like top tier gear, and it made me realize I never ever got to the end game in that, because some of those weapons for the end game stuff are insanely good, like insanely
really?
good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're fun to use, they're fun to play. I got a sniper rifle that like you have to hold the trigger to charge the shot, and then it explodes when it hits people
Right?
and does dumb amounts of damage. Like, there's so much that I didn't see or do
Mhm.
because I never really put any focus into the end game. And then now jumping in and literally just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna do whatever till I get the stuff I need to get the achievement.
Mhm.
Which at this point is a couple of missions as a ranger, then pull open a video guide and get some collectibles.
That's right. See a little bit of everything.
But it is amazingly fun and impressively disappointing at the same time.
Yeah, because the thing about Anthem was it always had the promise. Like, the foundation was there, and so much of it was good. It needed a lot of love kind of everywhere, but you could really easily see how you could fix that game, and kind of the promise could really shine through. And I think that's kind of the biggest bummer, that it's understandable that EA didn't want to do, the Anthem 2.0 stuff, but man, you can still really see the promise of this game, and it's a real bummer.
Well, that was the thing, because for the most part, like, there was only a couple broken bits in the game that were patched out fairly early, and then the rest of it was just rebalancing the stuff that they had in the game.
Yeah, and it like needed some quality of life stuff. It needed more content, but like that's stuff you could kind of fix over time as long as they wanted to kind of dedicate themselves to it.
Yep.
Sucks, because watching the video that Boston has up, I think I might start playing this game on the side again.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, it's fun. Like, it's like knowing there's an end to it is the part that really appealed to me here, because it was like, yeah, okay, this is something that I've got. It's taking space on my hard drive. I know I can play it a little bit and get a lot out of it.
Yeah. I think I waited. I didn't buy it in the beginning because of all the issues it had, and I think I got it for like $15 brand new because of that. But I mean, I loved that game playing it.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it might still be on sale. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was just on sale. Like the Legion of Dawn edition, which is like the special edition, was like $6.
That's where you got the cool armor setup and all that. Yeah, I got that stuff too.
Like, it's shocking how great, and it's wasted potential.
Yeah.
Like, is what it feels like more than anything else. And it's just like, is this, I mean, obviously it's EA, so is this them not hitting their money targets? Is it because I know this game was fraught in development hell for a long time as well.
Yeah. So
it's like, what exactly caused this to happen? Or was it just the bottom line thing of, well, this is the situation? Because it's really good. Like, I'm having so much fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's weird just playing it by myself and not like in a group or anything, but at the same time, that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to go and shoot a bunch of things with big, huge guns that explode a lot, and then see what happens after that. Like, I don't know. Really good. And I'm
Anthem's
really
cool.
disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, that's all I've been playing, Boston. Take it away.
Nimp, go ahead.
Whatever. Tomato.
Moon doesn't want to
Yeah,
hear about your games, Nimp.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was just sitting here thinking, it's like, man, yeah, we'll see Anthem 2 when we see, name EA Game 3 here.
Yeah, exactly.
Syndicate 2024, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. If only.
Anyway, so what I've been playing this week, I played a little bit of Indivisible this week. I don't have a whole lot to talk about it, but for the longest time, I was stuck on like this stupid enemy in this fortress. It's like the second or third area you get into. Could not beat this thing for the life of me, and I switched out a couple party members, and I don't know what happened, but somehow I managed to finally make it through there. And the biggest issue was just that enemy encounter was doing way more damage than anything else in that area, to the point that the boss that I was fighting afterwards was way easier than the thing that was in the corridor to begin with.
That's odd.
And I don't know why. Like, I was even doing... The game has it where if you see the enemies on the screen, they'll try to attack you. You can block it and you can counterattack, and that gets you basically your... at advantage battlefield or whatever. I could do that all the time, but it just did not seem to make a difference. And it was... I kind of stopped playing it for a while because I hit this weird wall. But now that I'm past it, I started playing it again. And then I hit all the fun platforming stuff that it has in this game, and I stopped playing it again.
Right.
It's not bad. I'm fighting a different boss now where it's done in different areas. So you get their health bar down to a certain point. They move on to a different area. But then it takes on this whole Mario in a castle thing where you have Bowser's flames coming at you randomly.
Oh, no.
And it's doing that in this. And it sucks because you're trying to platform while getting shot at off screen, and there's not a whole lot you can really do about it.
Yeah, and the platforming in this game is fine, but it's not like the most precise.
It feels like the character doesn't move themselves. They don't move fast enough because you don't have a run button, and it feels like you're squarely in the middle between walking and jogging.
Right.
And you have a dash button, but that doesn't turn into like a run or anything. It's just they dash their certain point and then they go back to their normal. So it's kind of a pain when you're trying to finesse like time trials and stuff. Like the blocks are about to disappear. Or you're trying to dodge these stupid fireballs so that you can wall jump back and forth. I got juggled by a bunch of fireballs in this one corridor because I could not get my character to just move in the direction when I needed them to.
Oh, man.
So I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
It's mostly a me thing. I'm tired and I don't want to deal with platforming stuff. I've never been a big fan of that kind of thing. So that's why I don't play games like Celeste.
Right.
Or Super Meat Boy. My next game that I played was DioField Chronicles. And I did beat that game.
Oh, nice.
And I know no one ever comes to me about trophy stuff, but you want an easy platinum, you play this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's everything except for 2 trophies are tied to the story.
Oh, wow.
So once I beat the story, I had to let one of my characters die and revive them because the game wasn't doing it for me. And then I had to grind to get a character up to level 50, which that actually took the longest out of everything. Because at the end of the game, one of my characters is at level 46, so I just kept grinding this one mission for like an hour and a half and finally got them up to 50. So that sucked, but it made it a lot easier because my game-killing combo of assassins just one-shots everything. I even found out for one of the particular moves, I basically had this one game set where I would stun the enemy while my rogue/assassin was behind them. Between the stun and being behind them, plus increasing their criticals, I was doing in excess of 250 damage, like percentage-wise damage. So I was doing like almost 2,000 points of damage with one attack. Like each
So
hit in
good.
this like 8-hit attack. Yeah, so
Right.
I was back to like nothing being able to survive once I was able to get a combo going.
Right.
And I kind of liked it, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, that takes the fun out of it. It's like, not for me. I broke the game. I figured it out.
You like built. You got to the point where you broke the game. That's always fun.
Yeah. So I had a blast with this game. So if you want an easy platinum, go for it.
Yeah.
My next game that I went back to, since we were talking about EA, is Jedi Fallen Order.
Hmm.
I saw you playing this.
Yeah, so as Jedi Survivors coming out in March, and I was kind of playing with the idea of going back and playing the game again, and then we got it for free on PlayStation, so my son started playing it. And then he started talking to me about it. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to go back on my Xbox and pull it up, and we're just going to start brand new Journey Plus. Journey Plus doesn't really give you anything.
Okay.
Which isn't an issue for me. I put this thing on story mode because I already beat it on, I think, like Jedi Master was like the highest difficulty. And there were parts that took hours, and now I am just walking through this game.
Nice.
And it is fantastic. But between listening to him talk, I was like, man, I really remember liking this game. There were a couple issues in the beginning that I had with it, specifically with you would take like these slides down, and before you got to the end of it, you would just fall through the map.
Yep.
It seems like they fixed that.
Oh, nice.
I am playing it on the Series X right now. The Wookiees still look horrendous. They didn't do anything with that. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. The initial load time for loading into your game is horrendous, even on the Series X.
Oh, wow.
Once you're in the game and it does in-game load times, they're just like a snap. There's no issue there. It's just loading all of the assets toward it's like playing a GTA game. Like all the loading's on the front end, and it takes forever, which is amazing considering how fast the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are with loading. But I started brand new, I think, at the beginning of the story on Friday, and I am right now today, before this podcast, on the last level.
Oh, nice.
And I am still really enjoying this game. It is an awesome game. It doesn't look very pretty. It has tons of frame rate issues, too. I did finally figure out that they added a performance mode, so I clicked that on, and it's better, but every once in a while you still see some frame tearing here and there, but it's not as bad as when you don't have that on.
Right.
But yeah, the story, I enjoy the story for it. I enjoy having the lightsaber. Of course, I'm that guy that really enjoys pulling every enemy towards me and stabbing them as they come towards me.
Yeah.
Of course, I managed
Sith
to
half
find
is what you're saying.
I managed to find a Sith, and of course, yeah, I have problems with women that can kick my own butt, So, and it really made me miss KOTOR as well.
Yeah.
Because like I really want to replay KOTOR, and now we're stuck in this weird thing with the HD release on that being in limbo again. But whatever. But yeah, the story for this I'm really liking. I'm really looking forward to where they try to put this in the second game. Because I don't know how much of a time jump there's going to be, but this I think is in between. I'm trying to think, this is in between episode 3 and episode 4. I believe was the time mark, because you're still messing.
Like that?
Yeah, you're still messing with because the game starts out where you're stripping down like these old Clone War Republic ships and all this stuff. So that's still in there, but the Empire has firmly taken hold, and the Purge has already happened, and all that fun stuff. So
right,
I don't know. It's just a fun Metroidvania game.
Yeah,
and I said this the last time I played it too. The people who say that, it's a Souls game, it's really not. The only Souls thing about it is that you have stim packs that reset when you meditate, which also resets the enemies.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not. It's a Metroidvania game. It's whatever. But yeah, I'm still really loving it. I'm loving the fact that I don't have a light and dark side thing that I have to deal with, but I am very much playing dark side with the horrendous things that I have done to these stormtroopers.
Right.
And then my last game that I have played this week, because I didn't really do a whole lot, 13 Sentinels.
I gotta get back to this game.
That's where I'm at too. I've been playing it off and on, and it's a visual novel game, but it's not the type that I'm used to. I know you are, Boston, because you're used to playing. It's more in the line of 999 and I can't remember anything else off the top of my head. But basically, it's not. I'm used to them where they just give you the story and you just put it on auto run. You listen to the story develop, and then it's like, oh, hey, here's a battle encounter. You play this now. I'm like, all right, cool. This one, it's more you're collecting information, you're walking to different locations, you're trying to hit certain time events within the locations so that you can move on.
Right.
Normally, it's not an issue. However, actually, you know what? Before I get that, let's break it down even more. So there's 3 different things that you can select when you start this game. There's the destruction, which is the actual battle in this.
Yeah.
There's the remembrance, which is the novel, visual novel portion of it, and there's the analysis, which is just everything that you've learned to this point, things that you've unlocked that you can read up on. The remembrance is kind of a pain right now because I had to actually start pulling up guides for some of these characters because I have like this vast network of trees that I can look at for like different choices that you can do to get different endings, and I'm missing a couple of them. And I see where the branch off point is, but I can't figure out how to get to the other branch.
Oh, sure. Right.
And so I pulled up a guide for a couple of these characters, and some of them are like real simple, like, oh, hey, you didn't talk to so-and-so up on the roof after you did this. And that's, how it delineates that.
Right.
This other one, I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong because all the guides say, hey, do this, this, and this. This will give you a new keyword that you can look up.
Okay.
Once you have this keyword, it will then activate a new branch that you can go to. And I've met all the pre-qualifications for getting this keyword, and I'm still not getting it.
Oh, weird.
And it's just like small little things like, hey, if you didn't go all the way to the left of the hallway during this branch, you won't see this character who's there for like literally 5 seconds walk off. And if you don't talk to them before you leave, you might as well restart that branch.
Yeah, it's like playing a lot of adventure games or like the modern ones like Life is Strange, where you finish a chapter and it's like 13% of people fed the plant and saved the birds, and it's like, what are you even talking about? Like, where was that?
Which I don't normally have an issue with, but this it's just when I get to a point like I am now where it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong to unlock this one set?
Yeah.
And every guide that I'm reading is saying, no, you just do this, this, and this, and I do this, this, and this, and nothing is happening.
Yeah, that's when it gets really frustrating.
All of them have it wrong, or I'm still missing something.
Right.
It's also not helping that there is a lot to do with time travel in this game.
Yes.
To the point that it is hard to keep track of which version of which person you are currently talking to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is cool, but like I said, there was like in the beginning, it was like, oh, what's this person doing in 1945 when I saw them in 1985?
Right.
And so there's that cool mystery aspect to it, but I'm getting to the point now where I have definitely talked to certain characters, and then I go back and see them later with a different character, and they don't know anything. And now I'm confused on what's happening.
Right.
So, it's got a lot going on, but it's a pretty cool story so far. I mean, as I was going on about earlier, mechs are the best. So, aliens
are better.
I mean, there's mechs in the Alien movies.
It's true.
Best of both worlds.
That's right. It's got it all.
Look, I'm just saying, you can't have a successful Alien franchise without a mech of some sort, okay? Moving on. No questions from the audience.
Let me get back to you on that one.
That's right.
But the battle system, which is the destruction section that you can choose, it's basically just like this wireframed map of like a town, and the mechs that you get to choose and their pilots, they're just like these little arrows that are on the map. And
Yeah, it
you
looks
can
like a holographic, kind of like a hologram display that'd be on a table or something.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a cool stripped down display.
and nothing is really detailed on it.
Mhm.
Like the enemies are like these wireframed looking things that you
Yeah.
can't really make out, but then you see what they look like in the actual story part of it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what that is. And but I mean, the battle system, as simplistic as it looks, is actually really fun, especially when it dumps like a ton of enemies at you, and you're like, oh, hey, I got this one person that just covers an area of missiles, and then you just blow up like an entire section of enemies. And you're like, yeah.
That was real good.
Yeah. Or you have one mech that just jumps from one side to the other, and when they land, they just blow up everything around them, and then they do the attack that you had them do. It's like, cool. There are 4 different generations of these mechs. So you've got like a heavily armored version of them, which don't have any range, but they're really good at close combat. There's like, I don't remember what order the generations are, but there's another generation where they're lighter armored, but they have long ranged. There's another generation that flies, and there's like a 3rd generation that's just all like defensive stuff, or like they can place like turrets and defensive shields up and all this stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do, and there's a lot of stuff you can level up each individual mech and their attacks, as well as the terminals that you're protecting in these battles, so that you can choose to do like these battle skill things where it's like heal all your characters, destroy all the enemies in this one area kind of stuff that you can only use a certain amount of time. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I'm liking it. It's just every once in a while I hit a wall with the story, and I'm like, all right, now what? And the game's like, yeah, what do you want to do now? It's like,
yeah,
I want to continue
buddy?
the story. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But other than that, the guides that I have been using, a lot of people just put out like the bare minimum, hey, do this, this, and this, and they don't get in really into what the spoiler of that story is. They're just telling you how to get to it. So I'm really happy for that, because this is definitely a game that seems like it would be real easy to just spoil and tell you, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, so that so-and-so does this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, I am having a blast with this game. I just wish it was a little bit easier to decipher what I need to do next.
Right.
Because sometimes it feels like, put the toast in the toaster to get the fish.
Right, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. But
yeah.
So yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. Boston?
My daughter and I have continued to play Pokemon Violet. The beginning of this game is super confusing. Because you get through the tutorial kind of prologue area in the school, and at the end they're like, you could do this, or do that, or do this, or do this other thing. Good luck. And just dumps you out of the front of the school, and they're like, figure it out. And it's like, what am I supposed to do though? And I kind of appreciate that, but I think my issue with the Arceus game kind of continues with this, where I wish there was kind of a little bit more structure to it once it takes off the training wheels. Because this one is just you can go anywhere on the map, but it's but should I? What should I? And it recommends some stuff, but it's a little too much, I think, for me. Thankfully, my daughter is we need to go do the fairy type gym, and I was like, cool, let's do it. Let's go do that. That sounds like a place to start. I don't know if it'll be successful or not, but let's at least give it a try. So it still seems fine. We're taking it, half an hour at a time, because that's about as much as she really wants to pay attention for, because she's 6, which is fine. But we're not sitting down for 4 hours at a time and knocking out a gym or anything.
Knocking out a game plan where it's no, we have to get here before we quit.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of ooh, Daddy, catch that Pokemon. Ooh, there's this one, and I like this one, and that one looks like this, and so a lot of my time is spent catching a lot of cool Pokemon, which is great, because she gets to practice her reading with the little Pokedex thing that comes up with the summary of the Pokemon, so nice. Everybody wins. Yep. So that continues to be pretty okay so far. Nothing.
Is there any voice acting in that?
No.
Okay.
That was the thing where I know a lot of people heaped praise on this. I thought it was really cheesy, but a bunch of amateur voice actors put together a cutscene where they voice acted the end of some big moment, and I was just like, you guys don't need to do this. Just like that Final Fantasy VII voice mod that came out this week, where they voiced a lot of they put a lot of combat barks in the game. It's like, you don't need to do that. That does, you know, it's just voice the rest of the stuff, and that's fine. It's okay. It's an incredible amount of effort for that, though. That's pretty crazy. Next game I'm playing, I have been playing a bunch of Dwarf Fortress. Shock of all shocks. The fortress I'm running right now, what I really try and go through and do, and I think I talked about this last week, is when I start a new fortress, I want to go in and learn something that I feel like I don't know yet. And not really learning by going to the wiki and learning it. Like, if you want to play the game like that, that's fine. I don't think there's a wrong way to play Dwarf Fortress. But for me, it's a lot of like, the fortress I'm doing right now, I really want to learn how to make armor and equip that onto my squads. And a lot of it is like figuring out the chain of, all right, how do I get like iron and copper bars? Oh, I get them from these things I'm already mining out. All right, how do I make that into gear? How do I equip the gear? How do I make the gear equip automatically? All that stuff. And that's the stuff I find really fun. So like, now I know how to do that, and I kind of have that in my brain. So my next fortress, I can figure out, oh, how do I do this thing? Maybe I'll figure out how to like dye cloth or something. This fortress is going shockingly well. I have a little over 200 dwarves now. For anyone that hasn't played this, you start with 5. So I have attracted a lot of people.
Attracted or a lot of inbreeding, whatever.
Yeah, thankfully it's the attraction one.
Did you manage to make ammonia and kill everybody yet?
No, that I've been ammonia free in this one. I am now a county, so I have my fortress has been upgraded a number of times because I'm making so many expensive materials and then trading them with the caravans that come out that my fortress has been way more famous. So I've been attracting a ton of additional people. So I now have, instead of having a mayor, I went from just like a regular fortress to a barony to a county now. And there appears to be a number of other fortresses in the world that have fallen recently, because I am now housing 7 different nobles from other fortresses. And
wait, are you Fortress Switzerland?
Seemingly, pretty much, yeah. And the real bummer of it is every time this system is interesting in a way that I'm kind of finding a little frustrating. But every time your fortress kind of gets upgraded to the next size, essentially, your nobles that are there need nicer stuff. So like nicer rooms, they need an office just to themselves, they need a dining room just to themselves, and it needs to be of kind of like a specific quality. They can't just have like normal stuff. They need to have their own tomb. That's also really nice. A lot of this stuff is really easy to build. If your fortress is at that size, you're kind of building that stuff already for everybody. But now you need to have these 3 or 4 things for a specific person. But now that I am at the level I am at a county, and with all of these people, I'm kind of struggling at this point where they're like, nicer. And it's like, you have a nice room, and they're like, yes, nicer. And it's like, I don't know how. I have so much expensive stuff in there, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but nicer. It's like, no, please, I have no more nicer things. So I'm kind of struggling with that. I do have 2 stories. First one is not a spoiler, so I'll start with that, and the second one is a spoiler, so I'll warn before that one. The weird thing that had happen in Dwarf Fortress this week is one of the jobs your dwarves can do is a hunter. So they just have a bow and arrow, and they're going out there and they're taking down deer and foxes and sometimes like eldritch horrors that are out in the wilderness. And they're bringing back the meat, and that's what you cook with. You make soap out of the fat and make things out of the bones and stuff like that. One of the hunters I have, because I think I have like 4 or 5 going on out right now, one of them got stuck in the rain, which dwarves really hate. But usually they kind of come back, they drink a bunch, they hang out with their family and their friends, and they're fine. They kind of get over it. This dude never got over it. He got stuck in the rain once, and for the next 2 years was complaining about it, even after I had him not be a hunter and just stay inside. Just could not get over getting caught in the rain once. And he got so upset at some point, and like his mood devolved so much and degraded so much that he started knocking over like the stone statues that I have all over my fortress. And once he started doing that, I was like, all right, man, you gotta go. So I kick him out, because I'm like, I'm not dealing with your temper tantrums anymore. You can go live in the wilderness if that's what you really want to do.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Exactly. So I'm like, I got 200 something other people. I really don't need this moody dude who won't even go hunting. So I kick him out, and he's like, well, fine. So he storms like a couple floors down to go to his room to gather all of his stuff from like his cabinet and his chest and everything. I don't know what happened, but on his way out, he decided to just start biting everybody he runs across and sent like 15 people to the hospital for getting nearly deadly bite wounds from this dude. And then he just like gets to the top floor and is like, all right, peace, had fun everyone, bye, and just leaves, and we never see him again. Just like, what happened? What do you, I mean, you went out with a bang, but jeez.
Knowing your spree, they're gonna all turn into were people at some point.
I know. I have like 70 people in my tavern right now, and I keep expanding it, and it's a hit, and I'm really waiting for another were animal to show up, like a were giraffe or something. Like it's really bad.
You should rename it Verdant and then see if superheroes come and hang around in there.
That's right. That's right. But the other thing that had happen this week, and this is a spoiler for anyone that's playing Dwarf Fortress, so if you want to go in kind of totally blind, then skip to the next game. But I found the caverns in my in this fortress, because I got to the point where I needed enough ore and minerals and stuff that I kept digging deeper and deeper, and I eventually opened. You basically break ground, and the game's like, you found an expansive cavern, and cavern I found was massive. It spidered out across basically the entire map and went down probably about 10 levels. And I started poking around in there because there were a lot of cave spiders down there, and there was a lot of cave spider webs, which seems to be a really easy way to get silk, because it's essentially you pick that up and you turn it in directly into silk, so you don't need to get it from some other animal or something. So for a while, things were pretty good. I had a bunch of people down there. I had a bunch of kind of small animals, and right before that, a bunch of people, every once in a while you get a petition, and someone would be like, hey man, I've been hanging out in the tavern. This place seems great. Can I move in? So eventually you have like goblins and humans and elves and everybody really living in your fortress. And for a while there, a bunch of people, they'll usually say like, hey, I want to move in because I want to work in the tavern and entertain people. Or like, I want to move in, I want to be a soldier. And a bunch of people had be like, I want to move in to eradicate monsters. It's like, I will probably need you at some point, so yeah, come on in, man. No big deal.
It sounds to me like those people who want to eradicate monsters, they've already got one dude wandering in the wilderness who bites people to catch cash.
Yeah, exactly. Like put some armor on him and like, let's go.
Just make him a berserker.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, as soon as I opened the entrance to the caverns, and I built some stairs down there. This flood of monster hunters, just like it was Christmas morning for them. They just started sprinting down there and started clearing the place out. Which is great because there were a bunch of kind of not great monsters down there. But eventually they had to take a break, which means the monsters started flooding the upper levels of my fortress, and a lot of people were fighting these monsters everywhere, and there's like a ton of monster teeth littering the floor of pretty much everywhere. So I had to close off the caverns because I was like clearing out monsters at the top levels, and a bunch of people were like down there just like still picking up spider webs. They were like, hey, everything's going on okay. It's like, no, that's where the monsters are. Yeah, like get out of there. So that has been kind of fun to figure out what all is going on down there, and it seems like the benefits kind of don't outweigh the cost for right now. So I've largely sealed it up right now and let everything kind of figure itself out down there. But I'm still having a blast with this. I'm kind of, my approach, as I said earlier, is still start a fortress, try to learn one new thing, and usually kind of at a halo effect, I learn a couple of new things. It will eventually fail at some point because it does, or the fortress will get so successful at some point that you'll kind of, you'll just want to retire it and move on to a new one because there's either the end is coming or you're kind of too strong. So I'm not at that point with this fortress yet, but Dwarf Fortress is great. And they've been doing a great job supporting it and patching it. And seems like there's some bugs in this new version, which isn't too surprising since it's a pretty complete overhaul. But nothing seems to be too egregious that I wouldn't recommend picking it up. So Dwarf Fortress continues to be great. And I love it. And I think you should pick it up if you're not going to have a problem with it like I do.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
So you should probably stay away from Moon. Yeah. Just be smarter than I am. Last game I played this week, Chained Echoes. I have finished Act 1. Boy, that Act went out on a real high note that I certainly was not expecting. And the storytelling in this game continues to be really, really good. And we were talking about this on Pup yesterday, that they're telling a really mature story, but not in a way that usually means for video games, where it's like everybody's swearing and there's a bunch of blood on this guts. You know, it's not anything like that. Like they're just telling a really great story. And the end of Act 1 really nailed it, I think. When you start Act 2, this isn't really a spoiler, because they kind of tutorialize you at the very beginning of the game with the sky armor. That's kind of like the Xenogears mechs that you can pilot. They bring those back at the beginning of Act 2, and you get a set of 4 of them. There's so much in this game. They changed the battle system again when you're in the mechs, and you kind of get in and out of them at will. And there's like bosses and enemies you're supposed to fight in the mechs, and there's enemies and bosses you fight out of the mechs. And I was talking about it last week, where you have that overdrive gauge where you're kind of balancing, keeping it in that green bar.
Yeah.
They changed the battle system in here where there's 2 overdrive bars, one at each end of the bar, and then there's a big orange bar in the middle. And this is really wild. To stay in that orange bar, you're upshifting and downshifting gears in the mech to keep yourself in that sweet spot as you're attacking, healing, and defending.
So you got a stick mech, huh?
100%. It's really wild, and I really appreciate how they do tutorials in this game, where they kind of teach you everything. I think the written tutorials are really good, and then they'll give you like a battle or two where they kind of introduce all of the mechanics. And then they do the thing that I wish more of these games did, where they just dump you in a dungeon. It's like, now you're going to use the sky armors the entire time. You'll have like 10 fights and a boss fight to just figure it out. And I think that's really great, because not enough RPGs do that. Usually it's like, here's a quick, poorly translated text that disappears on the screen too soon, and now it's a boss fight. It's like, no, I didn't learn how to do any of that. So it's really nice that they do that. And one thing that I really like that this game does that I forgot to mention last week is the maps. I really like in this game, when you get into a new area, it shows you the full map of kind of the zone you're in. Most areas are like 6 to 9 zones in this one area. Every time you get to a new screen, it just gives you the full map. Yep. It's like, hey man, you found a new area, here's everything, here's all of it. So like, usually when you're in a JRPG, like you go down a corridor and there's 2 pathways, and you're like, I don't know which one has the cool treasure chest and which one has a boss fight. Open up the map, it's like, yeah, this one's a dead end. It probably has the treasure chest. You go left first, get it, and then go right.
You know, say, or God forbid, okay, which path is the one that's going to force the story path on me, and I can't return to go down the other path?
Yep, 100%. Yep. So it's really nice. Like, all of we talked about this a lot last week, but all of the stuff in this game really respects the player's time and kind of respects everything that you're trying to do. And I think I really appreciate that they're making like a 1632-bit JRPG, but without being beholden to everything that means. Like, you don't have 4 or 8 direction movement in this game. You have full analog movement, and your character books. Like, your character is sprinting the entire time. Like, it's not this thing where you're tile by tile, you're crawling through this dungeon. Like, there's a lot of content in this game, and they're getting you through it. And I actually just unlocked a world map now that I can just wander around, which is really wild. So I have a lot of good stuff to talk about Chained Echoes, but all of it is kind of a spoiler at this point. I think I finished the first act. The time on my timer is like 20 hours, but I think it's counting pause time. So if anything, I'm probably 10 or 12 hours for that first act, which is a pretty good amount of time. And most of that wasn't like going back and wandering around fields to try and complete challenges or anything. Most of that was kind of just moving at a good clip through the story. So there's a lot of stuff in this game. Chained Echoes is really something special, and I think I can confidently say, now that I'm in Act 2, it's one of the best RPGs I've played in a really, really long time. It's a very, very good game.
I need to get back to it. I wanted to beat Jedi before I got back into that game, because I just can already feel the 3 hours that I have in there. It's going to suck me in as soon as I turn it on again.
Yep, that's absolutely what happened to me. And also, I didn't know until like yesterday, Chained Echoes is on Game Pass. So if anyone wants to go play it, you should absolutely do it over there. I think I only spent like $15 or $20 on it, so it runs on Steam Deck really well. Musum said it ran really well on his. It's on Switch, which is probably a great place to play it too. So it's kind of everywhere, which I think is great. And Chained Echoes is really great. Highly recommended. Everybody should go check it out. That's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
All right. Close all these videos here.
Now I've got 2 side pieces to play, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull out my Anthem disc and throw it in my Series X.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to be switching back and forth between that and Chained Echoes and every other JRPG that's coming out this year.
Yeah, man. I haven't even looked. I haven't really seen any reviews. I meant to look before the show. I haven't seen any real reviews of the One Piece RPG.
I did. A lot of people, the biggest complaint seems to just be that it's super easy.
Oh, okay.
Outside of that, what I was reading was it's not it's not necessarily following the main story right now. It's in a certain area. It's not covering like the whole arc of One Piece. It's in a certain area, so that way new people and people who have watched the series or read the manga can all just go into the same spot. But yeah, the biggest issue has just apparently been too easy, and I'm like, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's a criticism that I'm pretty happy to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I have Souls games if I want to get punched in the dick.
Right. Yeah, if you want a game to kick your teeth in,
yeah,
get back to one of those.
The option exists.
Oh, I forgot to talk more about Remnant from the Ashes. We've been playing more of that. That continues to be really good. That game is really great.
I'm telling you, man, that is such a fun. Did you guys find any beam rifles yet?
I just got my first one that's like made out of a piece of eldritch wood and shoots a black hole.
Dude, oh my god, those beam weapons can get pretty insane.
I love this game so much.
I love that game.
It's really good. Yeah. All right, you guys ready to wrap this up?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about releases for the week of January 16th, 2023, starting off with A Space for the Unbound comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This is kind of a cool, like a point-and-click adventure kind of pixel art thing. It looks like it comes from a studio in Indonesia. It has a really neat style. It has kind of a... I recommend looking at a trailer for this. I don't really know how to explain how it looks. It has this kind of like, as a neat saturation look, I guess, almost. It seems really cool. It's nice to see kind of something a little bit different coming out of like a pixel art game. All right, let's talk about the big ones. Persona 4 Golden comes out on PS4, Xbox One, Series Consoles, and Switch. Game Pass day and date. If you haven't played Persona 4, you should. It's great. The PC port they came out with a while ago worked really well, so I'm not expecting there to be any problems with this one. And it's on Game Pass, so you should definitely check it out.
What is it? Everything's better at your Junes?
That's right.
Yes.
Every day is great at your Junes.
There we go.
Along with Shin Megami Tensei, Persona 3 Portable comes out PS4, Xbox One, Series Consoles, Switch, and PC. Also Game Pass day and date. Persona 3 Portable is also great, and thankfully for that version they removed the FES stuff because it was bad. And
this one comes with Takanashi's Midnight Channel of ordering things.
that's right. It's also the version that... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I will not be replaying these games as much as I want to.
Yeah, I would really love to replay both of these because they're great. But
I will be. I know, and I'm looking forward to what you have to say about it.
Yeah. So for Persona 3 Portable, it does remove the kind of walking around the map stuff, which wasn't the best in 3 anyway. But you do get the 2 main characters, so you get to play as a male or female main character. And you do get direct control over your party, which Persona 4 and 5 also have, but the original Persona 3 did not, which could lead to some rather frustrating boss battles where it's like, please heal. Please heal. Nope, don't debuff. Please heal. Nope, don't buff. Just to heal. Nope, we lost. Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
So thankfully this removes that whole issue. But both 3 and 4 are really great. If you haven't played 3, 4, or 5, you kind of can't go wrong with any of them. They're all really great for different reasons.
This is the start of my journey into the Persona of 2023. I deliberately didn't play 5 because I want to do them in order.
Yeah, well, and Persona 5 Royal is really good. It's even better than the vanilla version.
I was going to say, is Royal the version that's on Game Pass right now, or is it just the vanilla?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it's just Royal. Basically, Atlas is just like, hey man, don't play the original. Royal is where it's at, which I would agree. Royal is really good.
Yeah, it's just, you have to get really far into... Do you have to get really far into 5 to get to the Royal stuff? I know that there's some stuff here and there, but it's mostly endgame content, right?
If you've played 5, the intro is different, where you're like, all right, this is the normal stuff. Bam, here's a new character. It's like, I'm sorry, what? And then, like, there's not a lot of stuff for a little bit, but they introduce like the new NPCs and the new character and stuff pretty quickly. So there's some stuff sprinkled in, but the additional the missing months from the original, you have to get pretty far into it for that stuff. But yeah,
I would love to replay these games if they weren't 100 hours each at a minimum.
God, they're so good.
I have no idea what you're talking about. These are nice, smooth 10-hour games.
Yeah, it's like Chrono Trigger, in and out in 20 hours.
You can play them in 10-hour chunks, and that's great, but I can't. You and I have different issues with maintaining our sensibilities, and
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm only going to play Persona.
This would turn into picking up the Pixels Part 2 over here. If
That's
we all
right.
started playing these.
Yeah. So again, 3, 4, and 5 are all really good. If you want to start with 3, I think 3 is really great. If you kind of don't click with it because it's a little bit different from 4 and 5, there's no fault in kind of picking up 4. 4 starts very slowly, so just kind of keep that in mind. But once 4 really gets going, it's really good. But 3, 4, and 5 are all fantastic.
Yep.
Fire Emblem Engage comes out for the Switch. This looks cool. The Fire Emblem games are cool. I kind of can never tell what's different with each one of the games, but this looks great. I think it looks neat. I don't know if you know much about it, Nimp.
This is the one where they basically bring all the... If you are not a person who has played Fire Emblem, but you've played Smash, or you've kind of are aware of it, all of the names that you are aware of are in this one, because you can bring them back using rings, it sounds like.
Oh, interesting.
So you can bring back Ike, or whomever you want.
Got a Marth in there.
Yes,
right.
Definitely a Marth.
Yeah.
So yeah, my son is super looking forward to this. He's actually going through 3 houses right now, and then he wants to play the Warriors, so that way he can play this one. And they're not connected. It's just those are the more recent ones that he's getting used to.
Yeah.
Because I told him to pump on permadeath and all that fun stuff, and he's like, no. And I'm like, no, you need to do that.
Yeah. Next up, Monster Hunter Rise comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and it's on Game Pass day and date.
Yep. Here we go again.
Yep. I had to remind myself, this is not the turn-based RPG one that I'm interested in. That's still stuck on Switch and PC. But this is the kind of... Let's call it a sequel to Monster Hunter World, which is probably the one that most people have played before this. So if you liked that, it's more of that and bigger and a lot more of it.
And yet weirdly also a step backwards at the same time.
I was going to say, I thought some of the systems were pre-World.
They are. This is it's like a half step. Imagine if rather than go straight from like Monster Hunter Tri to World, imagine if they had a game in the middle that was a half step between classic Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter World. That's this game.
Yeah.
Except they released it after World.
Right.
Makes no sense.
It's the prequel.
Yeah, the pre-sequel. Yeah. And last but not least, Pocket Card Jockey Ride On comes out on Apple Arcade on iOS. If you never played Pocket Card Jockey, it is a horse racing solitaire game that came out on the DS or 3DS. It's really good. I'm going to be playing it. My sincere hope is that this means that it's also going to be coming out on Switch. There's no release date for that yet, but it seems like a pretty natural fit for it. So I'm hoping this comes out on other stuff because I want people to play Pocket Card Jockey because it's really good. It's a
art
wild
style
thing.
is really cute as well.
Yeah, it's a really cool game that most people didn't play because it was like a download only 3DS game, and a lot of people kind of didn't do that, understandably. So, speaking of things that aren't going to happen, Skull and Bones gets re-delayed again. Now moves from having a release date to fiscal 2023-2024.
Predictions, baby.
Yeah, we were so close.
Were we though?
We were so close.
I'm pretty sure I was dead on.
I'm not sure how much I can talk about it, but I did play that closed beta. It was a thing that existed, and I have played. We were close, man.
When was the closed beta?
late last year, November, something like that. So a couple months ago.
Well, I'm pretty sure the game's getting a complete overhaul, and that beta means nothing now. So
I can
NDA
almost
be
guarantee.
damned.
Yeah, just we were so close. Forspoken is coming out in like a week, so one of mine is coming out soon. But Skull and Bones, we were so close to probably not greatness. We were so close to coming out. We were so close to being a thing on my PS5. And
so close to something happening.
Yeah, so close to probably a video game. So I will see you next year, I guess? Question mark.
Early predictions contender.
23.
Yeah, it's just someday. Someday, my beloved. It will probably come out and probably not work, and that's fine. I've come to grips with what this is. But if you listen to the Outcast, you know, we had a very expensive house-related thing this week, so you saved me $70 to $150 this week. That's fine. I'm okay with that. We'll see. Greatness will come out sometime,
or
I guess.
Did your problem happen because this game didn't release?
Ubisoft. What have you done? Sabotaging me personally.
It's one true fan.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. All right. That's all of our releases and all of our news stories this week. Yes, go ahead.
Don't worry, Skull and Bones will start on OnlyFans and Boston will subscribe.
That's true. That's true. You'd be my first OnlyFans.
At this point, it'd be faster for you to just make the game yourself and release it.
All right, brand new show. The making of Skull and Bones. Making of Bones and Skulls. I don't want to get sued.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right, that's our episode this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. I've had too much caffeine and not enough food. Please don't forget the Patreon, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are the boys.
You can get cool audio. Remember, we don't really delete anything, so there's like 80 bajillion episodes up there that you can scroll back through. And you can support us financially. Also, actually, please don't forget the YouTube channel. We have been talking about this recently. We record video for everything, even if we don't live stream it. So if you want to watch the video version, which is largely just kind of our talking heads and a TVGP logo, you can watch that over there or listen to it in the background. Either way.
Hey, you put up videos of the game that somebody is talking about.
That's true. I do put up a lot of gameplay, thanks to my Elgato Stream Deck XL, which...
No free rides. No to Elgato.
No, send me another one, and bigger. I need 50 buttons this time. But that was a real impulse purchase for something else, and it has actually turned out to be really great. That's a good piece of hardware and software. I'm pretty surprised. Send us one. Actually, send Moon a free computer, Elgato, before you send anything else.
Please.
Like, do that first. That's what we need. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 All right, Nim. Hit us with your titles. Oh, God.
Boy, do I have a list.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, no. Okay.
Starting with the Anti-Boston Week.
Mm-hmm.
Followed with Phase 1 complete. I don't know how I feel. Third person is EA support. I can't hit and I can't score.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what I wrote here. Oh, I'm slap-shotting it every time. I don't know.
Okay.
It wrote it as I'm slob shopping it every time. And I'm like, what?
That's what I wanted. Yep.
You get hit people points. And my last one, I see ankles and done.
Moon, what do you have?
Okay. Hold on.
Gotta get
I'm
the
not
notes
a
back.
bad pet owner.
Mm-hmm.
Streetification. What monster am I feeding? Ankles and then done. RNGesus was mean to me. Sith at heart, ammonia free, and Fortress Switzerland.
I have the anti-Boston week and I see ankles and ... done. Anything else you guys... Sounds like that was kind of our two lead ones. I don't know if anything else is really jumping out to you.
No, I like them both.
Mm-hmm. I like leaning more towards the anti-Boston week one, but I'm not sure if I'm married to it.
I like them
anything.
both.
I was gonna say, I don't have anything for either one of them, but I like both of them. Let me.
Yeah.
I would vote for anti-Boston week then. I feel like it's a bit of a punchier title.
That's fine by me.
Yeah, that works for me.
Sir Glenn?
Um,
I'm ready when you are.
Oh my.
all right,
Do my
yeah,
best.
I got something.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 795 for January 16th, 2023. The Anti-Boston Week.
I say no to RPGs, no to Destiny, and no to music.
We're gonna force Boston to play the Callisto Protocol.
Oh no. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. Apparently my voice is totally done. We'll see you next week. Bye.